Working with coloring black and white photos, right? So we're trying to figure out how we can take something that has no color to it and how to add color. It's another way of editing photos and changing how our photos look. So again, there's three options in the folder on Google Classroom. There's going to be this car. There's going to be a landscape shot with just nature, you know, trees, mountains, water, that kind of stuff, sky. And then the last one has a person, you know, on a sidewalk in a park or something. So it gives you some options of like different scenes to color and different materials to color, things like that. But essentially what you're going to do today is how to change the color of a photo, right? So you're going to somehow select your item. Could be the quick selection. This acts as like a big paintbrush where you just kind of color in what you want. And it can be kind of selective where it goes on the wrong areas because it just goes by the shades and the coloring. So if it's similar, it will kind of jump those boundaries. If you ever need to add more or take away some, you can see how on my little icon here in the corner, I'll make it bigger so you guys can see it. This guy, there's a plus sign in the middle. That means you're trying to add. If you click and hold Alt, it will change it to a minus sign, meaning you're trying to take away, right? So I can paint this guy and get rid of some of those highlights, right? Anything that's selected is going to have that dancing ant border, so be looking for the dancing ants. You can also add and subtract with your brushes up here, so I can just like change it to a negative brush, change it to a positive brush, that kind of thing, right? Or if you need to, you could try your lasso tools. That takes more skill because you have to trace and draw and, you know, use your mouse. Or the wand works, but it only works for similar coloring. And again, like this guy, his tolerance gets a little crazy. You can change the tolerance a little bit. I think if you change this number on top, it's supposed to make it more precise, but it still has some errors, right? That works better on like single color backgrounds. So like if I want to do this guy, he gets most of that background, but he picks up some of these. So just be cautious of that based on what your photo looks like. I'm going to use the quick selection because it's easy to use. I'm going to do some coloring here. But the bigger your brush is, the more he's going to pick up. So if I need to shrink it down a little bit, it'll paint better on smaller areas, right? I'm just going to do a quick one here. You guys need to be more clean. I mentioned that on the other recording because I had to redo this one. But basically, once you have this, right, so you got your photo selected, you got a piece of the car selected, and you go up here to adjustments right here, or you go down to the bottom and click new adjustment layer. That's this circle guy. Or if you're missing that, just go to window and adjustments, okay? Under adjustments, you're looking for hue and saturation. Hue and saturation are your color guys. That's how you want to figure out your colors. Click Colorize, and then watch my car as I start dragging this slider. So saturation is going to be how much pigment shows, right? So all the way down means you're getting zero pigment. All the way up means you're getting all the pigment. Watch that red come out, right? He looks kind of pink and light though. That's the lightness scale. I'm going to go, you know, super bright light. He gets washed out. You can't see it, right? Super dark. Gets too black. Can't see it. So find somewhere on there where the colors look good and you can still see the car's details and you're not like blowing it out, right? And then you just kind of pick whatever color you want. I kind of like that pinkish red on this end just because I was already there and it looked kind of nice. Basically, that's that, right? Go ahead and, you know, paint this as you would, but here's the thing. Like I said on the other video, careful of your selection tool, right? Because I didn't make clean selections. I went over the metal. I went on the trim. You know, I covered up the wording. Like, be very precise with what you're selecting. You know, don't just select the whole thing and make it all one color. Like the car details, like the lines on the pinstripe should be different. The mirrors and the metal pieces, like it's metal, that's different. That's all probably chrome on an actual car. But in this case, it's black and white, so you can change it if you'd like to. But yeah, be very careful of what you're selecting and clean up your edges. If you're doing the hood, don't get the windshield wipers. If you're doing the door, don't get the mirror. If you're trying to do the seats inside, make sure you're very careful of what you select. Don't get like the other parts of the car, things like that, right? But go ahead, have fun with it. Change the colors. You can make it look realistic and normal and like a nice photo. You can kind of get crazy with it. Just play around with it. Show me you can change the colors of an image from black and white to an actual colorized version. Okay?